Hey guys, this is UBR Tech, and today's video is going to be how to disassemble and clean the magazines for a Kimber Micro CDP 380. So the things you're going to need are a Phillips screwdriver. This is the cleaning tool that I use to get to those hard to reach spots. Something like this. CLP. Not sponsored, so anything that will clean and lubricate. And you'll need paper towels or some type of rag that doesn't leave lint behind. And the other thing I do too is I make sure that they're in smaller patches, sort of like this. So you can cut them up just like that. So the last thing, these are optional. These are snap caps, and it's just a safer way of testing the function of the magazine when you're cycling this through the handgun. So we have 3 different magazines here. These are the 3 I have. I'm going to show you how to disassemble each one. Disassembling them varies slightly between the 3, so I'm going to show you how to disassemble all 3. So these 2 disassemble slightly different, and this one's totally different than these 2. So let me show you how to disassemble this one first. We look at the bottom, there is the little circle right here. You're going to take this thing right here, and again you could use a small screwdriver, something like this, and you could still get the same function. As you push down on this circle, you're going to push this plate, the bottom plate, forward in this direction like that. Put your thumb here, compress the spring, and then slide it forward just like that. The bottom plate comes off. Keep your thumb on the spring because you don't want it to shoot out. There's this plastic plate at the bottom. This comes off. Then pull out the spring. Then to get this plastic piece out, just turn it over like that. It falls out and it's disassembled. What I normally do is take one of these patches and I wipe everything down. You kind of just want to wipe off the excess in between each one of these spaces. I don't use this magazine often because it's so small, so we really don't shoot it often. Once you wipe down the bulk, then you can wipe down all the other pieces. Just like that, just to get the bulk, like I said. And then once that's done, wipe the outside of the magazine down. And once you're done that, what you do is you take the paper towel and you stuff it down into the magazine like this. Take your tool and push it in. And you go back and forth. Now keep in mind, you don't have to go crazy with this because again, it's not like this gets extremely dirty. As long as you get the bulk of everything, I mean, that's good enough for me. That's how I look at it, because what you're eventually going to do is clean it again after, let's say, 6 months or so, depending on how often you go shooting. So now, after everything's wiped down, take your CLP, put a little bit of CLP on your fingers, just like that. Okay, you can see I have a little bit of CLP. Take your spring and wipe it down. Again, this is just going to put a nice light coating on it. And then set that aside. Same thing for this. Wipe it with your fingers. Put that aside. This little piece, this little bottom plate, rub that, put that aside, and then the last part right here, and that's it. Really, you could put it on the outside, but we're just going to wipe all this stuff off anyway. Then last, wipe the outside of the magazine, and then put that down. Now normally I would do this and I would let it sit for about like a minute or two, and then I'd come back and wipe everything off. But since I'm just trying to show you how to do this, I'm going to pretend that I waited the minute or two, and now we're just going to wipe everything off. Wipe the excess CLP off your fingers, and let's go back in with a clean patch and wipe off the excess CLP. So what that does, when you leave the CLP on there, that's actually breaking down all the fouling that's hard to come off. That's just breaking it down, so this way you could just easily wipe it off. And then that's it, and you're done. Next piece. And as you can see, this really wasn't that dirty. We don't really use this magazine. See, you got a little bit on there, but we really don't use this. And so, for instance, let's say you really wanted to get that black line off of there. You could add a little more CLP to that, let it sit for a little longer, and then wipe it off. For me, this is totally fine. That's good enough. Wipe this off. Then take your magazine and wipe off the excess on the outside of this too. Normally what I do is I will take a look down inside the magazine. If I see anything that's really, really bad, I would take another pass, put this down there, and do the same thing we did from the beginning. Now we put everything back together. So you take your magazine, and then you take the plastic piece, and you're gonna put this into the magazine. The flat part right here is gonna match up with this flat part. And so we're gonna basically, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna go in and it just falls down. And that's what it's gonna look like. Okay, then you take your spring, and the spring is gonna go in this orientation where the round part with the little piece cut off right here, that is gonna go towards the front, just like that. It looks like this. So you take the magazine, and now you're gonna put the little black bottom plate on. So these two little nubs go towards the spring, just like that. See how this part right here is straight? That goes to the back of the magazine. And this little black notch will be seated right into this notch right here. So you're gonna put that in like that. And you're going to compress it just like that, and the back looks like this. Then you're going to hold your thumb over it just like that, and we take our bottom plate right here. So these little notches right here and here are going to slide underneath this metal lip and this metal lip. Just like before, put the plate like we had it, compress it down like that. Then we take the very bottom black plate, we put it down over the bottom, and then we make sure that they slide underneath, just like that. So see how the little black piece right here is underneath this metal lip, just like that, and you're gonna slide this back. You can see how that little circle nub is in the way. We're going to push that down and push the plate further back, and then keep pushing back, and that little circle pops through the hole and it's back on. And it looks like it's operating correctly. Put that down. We're done this one. So the next one, I'm not going to show you how to clean it because you already know how to clean it. It's the same principle in this one, except for there's one little piece here that's a little bit different to clean, but all it's sort of the same. You're just going to wipe this down with some CLP, wipe it off after 2 minutes, and then put everything back as normal. So this one here, this has a little metal plate, almost the same principle. Take your tool, push it in the middle circle, and slide the metal plate forward just like that. Keep your thumb on the opening because there's a spring in there, just like the other. Put that down. Now there's this other metal piece right there, and we're going to slide that forward too. So two metal pieces are going to slide out. This is the first bottom plate, and this is the outside bottom plate. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the spring out. Now you could see it's different from the other magazine because this metal lip was on the outside. This one has been like kind of curled in. So we're gonna have to just move this around to get the spring out. Put that down like that. In order to get this metal piece out, we have to push this down. You can take your tool, push it down all the way to the bottom so it shows up down there. And then this is the trick. So you're gonna take the flat long piece right here, and you see this is like kind of curved around. You're going to push this part in and pull this out just like that. And then once you get to this part, you're going to keep going, and then it's going to be like this. You're going to take this part and you're going to go all the way to the edge, and then you're going to turn, rotate it like that. It comes out. Slightly different part than this plastic piece, but essentially it's the same. You're going to put CLP on your fingers, rub it all over here, let that sit, do the same thing for this and these two pieces, wipe everything down once you're done, put everything back together. So now let's put everything back together. Everything goes pretty much in the same way it came out, just backwards. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this little metal piece and the curved part goes in first. So you're going to put it in like this. See how it's going in? Just like this. And you're rotating it, right? So it starts out like this. You're putting this piece in first, just like that. Rotating it like that. Then what you do is you push this flat part into this area right here, just like this. And then you see how like it kind of hooks in? Okay, it's going to hook in just like that. And now you're back in business. The best way of setting this up so to get your spring in is to, once you get this part in, you're going to slide this in and you're going to get it to come all the way down. Take your tool, push it all the way down, just like that. So you can see it's set the way it should be. Kind of hold this part with your fingers, like pinching it like that, so it doesn't slide back down here. You're going to take this part, this round part right here, goes in like that. So it's going to look like that, okay? So go in that. You're going to have to kind of jiggle it around. Once you've got the majority of the spring in, you can let go of this part right here. Now once the spring is in, you could take this bottom part, this little flat piece, not the round side, but the flat piece goes in first. It goes underneath these two metal lips, this side and this side. So take our metal plate. Okay, you're going to push down like this, and it slides underneath the metal plate like that. Once you get the metal plate in like this, now we take our outside bottom plate, essentially do the same thing. These two sides, they go underneath here and here. So just like that. And then, so this little bump right here, you have to push that down just a little bit and keep sliding this plate back. And then that little nub is going to stop here, right? So we got to push this piece down further. And then once we get past that, it goes in the middle. And now everything's back to normal. And it seems like it functions well. Same thing with this one, but the difference is there's going to be this little screw. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Phillips screwdriver and you're going to take this screw out Once you take the screw and this plastic piece off, this bottom plate comes off just like this one did. It's pretty much the same. You take your thumb and you push down and then push forward. So you're going to push down and then forward, and it slides out from underneath. Now again, see how I kept my finger on there? Because this would have flew out if I didn't. And that's it. Comes out like that. Put this down. And then same thing, this little metal plate comes out like the other one. And you would do the same thing. Pull this out. And then as you get to this part, you're going to rotate just like that. Putting it back together. Put this little piece in first. You're going to rotate just like this. As soon as you get to the flat part, that goes in to the back right here. And then you're going to hook it. So it's going to hook, like I said. And then once it's back like this, you can push that all the way to the top, just like this. Once that's in the top, the spring goes back in like this. So the smaller guy with the little round part goes in like that, goes in like this. You're gonna have to push past the little lips right here and here, and then compress it. Once you get the spring all the way down like this, take your metal plate, push it on top of the spring, this track right here on both sides, underneath this metal lip right here and here, and then push it back until it lines up just like that. See how it's lined up? This part's not sticking too far forward, and this metal plate is not sticking out past this part, the flat part. Once you got that part installed, you take the pinky extension and it goes in this orientation. The round part doesn't have this part sticking forward. Then flip it upside down, put the screw in, screw this in, just like that, and everything's back together. So now we're gonna make sure that they function correctly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the snap caps and we're gonna insert them into the magazine. Now, keep in mind, I'm only gonna do it for one. You're gonna do the same thing for whatever magazine that you're cleaning. So if you clean all three, you'll do this for all three. If you're only gonna clean one, you just do it for the one that you're cleaning. So I put 3 snap caps in. You can see this is clear. There's nothing in there, no magazine. We're gonna insert this magazine in. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull down on the slide lock while pulling the slide to the rear. So we pull down and then pull back. Now what we're gonna do is just gonna let go of the slide. And now we have 1 snap cap in the barrel. Always keep your finger away from the trigger. Even though we know that there's a snap cap and it's not live ammo, you always want to practice good trigger control. Now that we know there's a snap cap in the barrel, we're going to just cycle this and we're going to have the snap cap come out. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we're going to keep our hand like this and we're going to pull the slide to the rear and pushing forward with this hand. So I'm going to put it upside down so the snap caps just fall. So as you can see, everything functioned perfectly, so you're done. So that's it, guys. You have successfully disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled the magazines for a Kimber Micro CDP 380. If you have any questions, please put in the comments. If you thought this video was helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. I'm trying to grow my channel, so if you haven't already, subscribe. Every subscriber helps. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.